want to talk to you about annuity deals. So who wants to buy a cash flowing business with zero money out of pocket within a maximum of 30 days from now? So 30 days from today, every single person in this room can own a business that's cash flowing without any external investment into that deal whatsoever. Hands up if you want me to teach you that in the next 30 minutes, okay? But there's a disclaimer. If I'm going to teach you this, I want every single one of you to execute on this within the next 30 days. No excuses. And I'm going to hold you all fully accountable, okay? So it's like that scene from Spider-Man, you know? Like right at the very end with MJ when he realizes that he's got the superpower skills. That's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you a superpower spider move that I want you all to execute on within the next 30 days. So let me tell you where the annuity deal concept came from. An annuity deal is basically a very, very long seller financing deal. They've been around forever, but no one's ever called them an annuity deal before. And the key to an annuity deal is how you position it to the business owner. It's all about influence. Anybody read the Robert Cialdini book, Persuasion? This is what we're talking about. So this idea came to me about 15, 16 months ago. And I'm on a call with a company, with a business owner, and we're going through the numbers and the valuation. And the valuation of the deal was crazy. The business was probably worth a 2.5 times multiple. It was an agency, marketing agency. And the seller wanted a 5x multiple for this business. So I said, wow, you must really have best-in-class transferable value to get anywhere near that 5 times multiple. He said, what are you talking about multiple? I don't even know what a market multiple is. My wealth manager valued my business. I went, really? Your wealth manager? Surely your CPA or a business broker or somebody. No. My wealth manager valued my business. I said, well, talk to me about that. Why did he value your business and for what purpose? He said, because I called him up and said, hey, I want to sell my business this year, and I need a certain amount of money per month for the next 10 years to live my life so I don't need to go through a lifestyle change. And the wealth manager said, well, how much money do you need? I said, I need $20,000 a month. So the wealth manager said, well, okay, for you to get $20,000 a month on an annuity product, you need to sell your business for this amount of money. Then you're going to pay all this tax at the closing table. And then you're going to pay me a nice big fat fee to invest that money for you into the financial markets. Then you're going to pay tax and fees on the proceeds from that policy. And then that's your $20,000 a month. So the price went up and up and up and up and up. And he said, if I don't sell my business for this money, I can't sell it because I have no retirement income. Remember the stat, $202,000 is the average amount of retirement savings that a business owner has in their 401k, Roth, IRA, whatever it's going to be. So if I don't get that money, I can't sell this business. So I took that valuation that had been calculated from the financial requirements, divided it by the EBITDA, got this crazy high multiple. So I said, well, what if I just be your annuity provider? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, I'll just pay you $20,000 a month for the next 10 years. You can do that? I said, of course I can. You'll pay a lot less tax. You'll get the price that you want. I'm setting the terms. I can do that deal tomorrow. The due diligence I'm going to do is very, very light touch. You're not going to have banks crawling all over you, asking for all this information. I said, I can't get to even half of what you want if you want all the money at close. But even if I could, it's going to take me 4 months. I'm going to go to the SBA. They're going to send like an army in here. They're going to be looking under every desk, every number. It's going to be a nightmare. So if you could pay me $20,000 a month on a 10-year plan, I will do the deal with you. So this is how you do it. So I'm going to talk about what an annuity deal is, why it's like leasing a car. I'll walk you through the structure, why it works so well, and what I call the seller drivers. The absolute key to this strategy is how you position it, right? Everybody knows what a seller financing deal is. It's positioning the benefits of this deal to the business owner. And it all starts with a really cool brain hack that Tony Robbins called me. And it's called the 2 offer structure that I'm going to walk you through. And then we'll show you how to make offers. And then I'm going to give you a 30-day implementation challenge. There is no reason why on Tuesday, when you get back home into your office, you can't deploy this. There is zero reason why anybody in this room can't have this deal done before, let's say, the end of July, because we're nearly at the end of June. So everybody's capable of doing this. So an annuity deal actually comes from the financial markets. It's where somebody takes a big chunk of money, invests it in, say, a Fidelity managed market account, and then that money generates an income stream. An annuity is a fixed period of time, say 10 years or 20 years. There's also something called the perpetuity, where you can value a deal and guarantee to make payments for life. So if you've got a business owner that's really old, like in the 70s, they know they're not going to be here in 10 or 20 years' time, positioning that the family estate can get that money in the future can be really, really cool. So an annuity deal is just like leasing a car or financing a car. So if you wanted to buy a Tesla, right? Teslas are a lot more expensive in the UK, but if you wanted to buy a Tesla in the States, you can rock up to Tesla and probably pay $499 a month for that car over a period of time, right? Or you can rock up and put a big chunk of money down. What are Tesla 3s, Chris? 50K, 60K in the US? So all we're doing is we're lease purchasing a business through the exact same way that most of us have cars, most of us have cell phones, and most of us buy houses. So the basic annuity deal structure has 3 things. So number 1, you inherit existing liabilities. So if the business has got debt, you take those on as part of the business. In some cases, but very few, you might need to make a closing payment. This works best for off-market deals. If you go to brokers with an annuity deal structure, they work, but you have to find a way to pay the broker fee. So you're going to have to come up with some form of closing payment, which is just going to cover the broker fees. So remember the example I showed you before, $100,000 on $1 million deal. You've got to find that 100K from inside of the balance sheet, or you've got to negotiate with the broker. So this works amazingly well with off-market deal flow. But the vast majority of the money that the seller's going to get is those future seller financing payments, and then you can also put earn-outs into them as well. And why they work so well is because only 1 in 11 small businesses in the United States that tries to sell actually does. There's 2.6 million unsold businesses across those 4 markets, just over 2 million businesses sat there in the United States that can't sell. So this works in every industry that's mapped to your buy box. So the benefits of annuity deals are really where this works. One of the biggest benefits of an annuity deal is speed, right? So if you're buying a business with no money going in and out of your own pocket, no money going in from the bank's pocket, no money going in from any investor's pocket, that's what slows a deal down. It's due diligence, it's legals, it's all those different things. The more money you need to raise on a deal, the longer it takes. You know, Ross said before, the 125 mil that we raised from Gem Equity, which is our post-IPO funding stream to go crazy on deals, that took 6 months. 6 months. A lot of these sellers, they can't wait 6 months. They want to do a deal right now. So you can close these deals very, very quickly. And we talked about due diligence a little bit. The due diligence can be really, really light touch. Just make sure they've done their tax returns. Just make sure that legally the business is safe to buy. There's no litigation. An attorney can do that in a couple of hours. And then you can do the majority of the financial due diligence once you've bought it. So you go in and then get under the hood once you're the owner. And if you don't like the business, you can just give it back, or you can have a true-up period. So we're solving a major problem in this country, that there's 10,000 baby boomers retiring. they haven't saved sufficiently for retirement, and the sale of their business, which is driven by those multiples, is not enough money for them to retire and get that consistent income that they need and they deserve. So an annuity deal structure allows us to pay more for the business, but cash flow the payments over a long period of time. The other massive benefit, and this works amazing with Republicans, and I don't want to get political in this room because I'm apolitical completely, but annuity deals are super tax efficient. So think about it. The way the tax codes work is if you get a humongous chunk of money at closing, you're going to pay a very high percentage of tax. Whereas if you spread that money out over a long period of time, that capital gains income, the IRS will tax the seller when they receive the money. They do this in the UK now, but they didn't. Historically, if you did a 10-year seller note on a business, the UK tax authority would charge the seller the tax in the first year. But through COVID, they changed it to map to the United States. The UK, from a deal-making perspective, is doing everything it can to follow what we're doing over here in the United States. So it's super, super tax efficient for a business owner to do an annuity deal. So not only do they make a lot more money, because you're paying a lot more over a longer period of time, they're also paying a much smaller percentage in tax. So they're getting 2.5 to 3 times the amount of money they would get if they sold it all at closing. So we talked about the traditional retirement savings. They're really nervous about trying to stretch that money out over the lifetime. And one of the other really interesting things is I was pitching an annuity deal to a seller a couple of months ago, and she said, so let me understand this. She said, what you're saying is I can get the income from my business that I'm normally taking, but I don't have to come into work? I said, yeah. She said, that is absolutely unbelievable. Why doesn't everybody else do that? She was terrified of selling her business and not having enough money to live her life because she was getting all the money that she was taking out. So most sellers would love to have that monthly income rather than that big lump sum. And they'll also feel connected to the business after sale. And if you think about it, still got the animations, Chris, never mind. Only 20% of people sell businesses for financial reasons. Those other 80%, they're looking for legacy, protection of employees. They want to make sure that you're going to do good by their customers. So annuity deals, this is where it goes into overdrive. If you're positioning yourself in all those different things, you're maximizing your chances of being able to get these deals done. And remember, seller psychology is everything. It's really, really important. So when I was a Wall Street guy, and I was doing billion-dollar deals, and I've done lots of billion-dollar deals, they're 90% math. It's all about financial engineering. It's only 10% around psychology. When you're doing these $1 to $5 million deals that we've been talking about that are all going to fit your buy box, those deals are 90% psychology. It's all about the psychology and the relationship. And remember, those two different types of businesses that we looked at, the businesses are the same, the sellers are the only ones that are different, the seller psychology. The two deal structures that we talked about, SBA deals are for the guy on the left. He wants a big multiple, everything at close. The annuity deal is for the guy on the right that wants to come out of that deal really, really quickly and is highly motivated to do so. So Zafrina, who's now on our advisory board of eConfolio, I know Zafrina through Protégé. She's done 2 annuity deals. She's buying CPA firms. Absolutely. She was the first to actually implement this. I think I taught the training in October of last year for the first time after I tested it myself on a bunch of deals with Chris. She was the first one, Chris, to actually close in November on an annuity deal, and then she's just buying these up like absolute crazy. Jim Helms has closed 2 annuity deals just in June, and he's done 2 consulting for equity deals as well. So my protégés are taking this stuff and they're implementing it and getting amazing results. We heard from Brittany yesterday. So Brittany and Daniel and Eric Presley, Three of them came together in Protégé, bought a $7 million revenue business on a 100% annuity deal structure. So guys, this works. You've just got to implement it. Chris and I bought a bowling alley on an annuity deal. Crazy story. So Chris just competed in a professional bowling tournament. This guy, I said to him once, dude, why don't you become a professional bowler? It's just because I make so much money doing deals with you. So I thought professional bowlers were like NBA basketball players. They don't earn a lot of money. So Chris used to bowl in this bowling alley, and he'd had a conversation with the seller one night. So Chris calls me the next day. He's like, I've just found somebody with a 100% mud score. It's unheard of. So he told me the story about the seller. And I won't go into the detail because it's very personal, but it was like this guy wants to exit. So I said, well, let's do an annuity deal. And within a week, we owned this bowling alley, which was really, really cool. Absolutely phenomenal business. So Chris gets to go and bowl and practice in his own bowling alley. I am absolutely dog shit at bowling. They have to put the guardrails up when I bowl. I'm terrible. I can't bowl. But one of the really cool things that happened is, so our sales onboarding team for Protégé, a lot of them are based in Jacksonville. So Chris, when we hired them, we went up to Jacksonville to train them, and they said to me one day, hey, have you ever been to Dave & Buster's? I'm like, I've got no idea what that means. Sounds like a cafe or a restaurant. I said, no, it's like a Walmart full of these arcade machines. It's crazy. So I went there, had the best time. I was a Guitar Hero guy in my youth, loved it. And then we bought the bowling alley, and there was this massive space in the bowling alley that wasn't being used. And I said, Chris, can we put a Dave & Buster's style thing in the bowling alley? Let's call one of these companies where they'll provide all the equipment for free. They will service it for free. You just do a rev share with them. And how much does that cash flow now per month? Like just it's like $4,000 a month in pure cash flow,
in the busy
just from
season,
the games.
Yeah. If I turn my mic on next to the speaker, it goes crazy. So yeah. But yes, in the busy season.
Unbelievable. Yep. And we're having a lot of fun in this business, aren't we? And I remember the first time I went in. No, I won't tell the story about no, I'm not going to tell that. But my wife might be watching. Just kidding. But no, it's amazing. So, as we've been saying all weekend, we're doing the things every day that we're teaching you in Protégé. So massive seller benefits. This is the key to closing an annuity deal. They're super quick to close. You can do a deal in a day, really, but allow yourself a couple of weeks once you get started. The seller gets security over the business in case you default. So if the seller says to you, hey, what if you don't pay me? Well, you get the business back. And you can even give them a performance guarantee. So you can share the numbers with them each and every month so that they're confident that you're running the business and you're doing all the really cool things. Chris, how much have we grown the bowling alley in a year? Have we 3x'd it or 4x'd it? 4x'd it. So we 4x'd the business in 1 year, and within 2 months of us buying it, we broke the record for the highest monthly revenue.
And then we did it 7 months in a row.
Yeah, we did 7 months in a row. We're scaling this thing to the absolute wazoo. So the seller, he's absolutely thrilled, and we gave him lifetime free bowling. Didn't we? Because he still bowls there. He's a customer. He loves it. He loves coming back in, and he feels connected to the business, and he's cheering us on from the sidelines. We solved a massive problem in his life by getting him out of this deal. And again, what an annuity deal is you picking the terms of a deal and letting the seller pick the price. I will buy an annuity deal at any valuation. At any valuation. All that valuation will do is dictate the number of years that it's going to take me to pay that money. So I'll say to a seller, I'll pay you whatever you want for your business. I'll pay you a 20 times multiple if I could pay you over 50 years. I don't give a fuck, because the cash flow, as long as I'm making money out of that business and I can 4x that company within 11 months, which is what we've done with the bowling alley, it's a win-win deal for everybody. And it's so quick to do an annuity deal. The DD can be so light touch and can be so less stressful. Remember, all these business owners, they're terrified of having to go through all this stuff. A lot of them, they don't have all these accurate financial records. and they're going to have to pay somebody to come in and do it all. So they're burying their heads in the sand. It's absolutely phenomenal. So let's go find the deal. Let me show you how to do this. So if you went to Biz Buy Sell, don't do this with broker deals, but I'm using a broker deal to show you. And this business, I think, is still for sale, so go buy it. So if you go on Biz Buy Sell, there's two numbers on all the Biz Buy Sell listings. The number on the top is how much they want for it, the asking price. The number below is the cash flow. So get into the habit of doing the mental math. Divide the top number by the bottom number. That tells you the multiple of SDE or EBITDA that they're looking for. So business in the middle, in LA, 2.1 times multiple. That's pretty low for a business doing $700,000 in cash flow. The one at the bottom, the HVAC company, multiple's a little bit higher. They want a 2.3x. So let's look at the one in the middle. Big clue, guys, when you're looking at broker listings, if you do go with brokers. Seller financing available. How cool is that? The seller's even telling you that they have that motivation to want to do one of these deals. So this business, 1.5 million asking price, doing $5 million in revenue. It's cash flowing $700,000. It's been around for 40 years. Do you know how many businesses last 40 years? 0.1%. Do you think this is a good business if it's been around 40 years? It's got to be, right? Especially with those unbelievable margins. And it's growing like crazy. It's grown to $5.4 million. And remember what I showed you this morning, that when you look at valuation, when you've got a deal where you've got a very, very high MUD score and a very high lever score, you can sell or finance a lot of that transaction. So you're really looking for business owners when you're doing deal origination that have got that extreme motivation to want to come out of a deal and to want to come out of it quickly. So the way that I do this is my ninja move, right? This is my Jedi mind trick. What I do is when I'm making an offer, when I want to do an annuity deal, I make two offers side by side in the same letter. It's called my two-offer structure. So let's look at this deal. You guys, if you were listening this morning, you were in the room, you'll know all about valuation now. So we've got a business valued at $1.5 million, $700,000 in EBITDA. It's a 2.1 times multiple. So that's going to put it right in the middle of the valuation range. Remember that a traditional LBO paying half the money at close and half the money in the future puts it in that middle. So I know from all that analysis that I did that I shared with you that if I was doing this deal on an SBA deal, I'm going to be offering a little bit less, about 1.1 million. And then if I'm going to do a 100% annuity deal over 10 years, this is going to be a $1.8 million deal. So I'm prepared to pay a premium on that deal to be able to cash flow the payments over a long period of time. And by making two offers side by side, this is what Tony Robbins taught me. It's like a brain hack. So the human brain is designed to make yes, no, or 1-0 decisions. So if you make an offer, if you make one offer to somebody on a deal, their options are either to say yes or to say no. If you make two offers side by side, the human brain fritzes and they will pick one or the other. They won't say no. They'll tell you which side of the coin they want to land on. So if you make the annuity deal super attractive and you position it in the right way with all of the rationale I've given you, and you make the SBA deal or the closing payment very unattractive, it's a lot less money at close, it's a lot smaller valuation, it's going to take a lot longer, you're going to struggle with retirement. If you're selling the benefits, the human brain is going to go to the annuity deal structure. So let's look at how this deal would work. So let's say we were going to do this on the SBA. 1.1 million offer, which I've just shown you. You can get these deals done now with no equity in, but let's say you wanted to get an equity partner, $110,000, and let's say you gave them 25% of the business. You'd SBA finance the rest, just under 900 grand. So that would give you a seller note as well of 110. So it would cost you $122,604 per year to service that deal. So that's still an amazing deal, right? Because it's cash flowing $700K. It's only costing you $122,000 to finance it. So if you put the $100,000 in, your free cash flow from one deal is over $500,000 per year. Or if you said to me, hey, Carl, come partner with me on this deal, give me 110 grand, and I'll give you 25% of the business, I'm going to get my money back very, very quickly. You're still going to cash flow $433,000 per year. So always on your other offer, make sure it's a deal that you would do and it's still attractive. But this is how the annuity deals would work. 10-year annuity deal, we're going to offer $1.8 million. So we're going to offer a premium. There's $180,000 per year that needs to come out of this business. So you've still got a 3.9x cover ratio. You're still going to cash flow $520,000 a year. If I'm looking at that deal, my rule of thumb on an annuity is I'm prepared to spend half the EBITDA per year to buy the business. So if it's doing $700,000 of EBITDA, and I'm prepared to spend $350,000 per year funding this deal, on a 10-year deal, I would pay $3.5 million to buy this business. That's nearly 3x what he's asking for. What the fuck? But I don't care, because I've got all this cash flow. I'm buying cash flow for free. That's before I even grow the business. So you can go crazy on valuation if you want to, if you're buying a really high cash flowing business. What's also good when the cash flow is really high is you can do an annuity deal over a shorter period. So let's look at what a 5-year deal would be. Again, going back to that valuation chart, we're going to offer a little bit less now because the money's coming out over a shorter period. 5 years, 1.6 million valuation. That's $320,000 as an annual payment. My cover ratio is 2.2. I'm still cash flowing 380. So I could probably go a little bit higher than that because I'm still getting half of the cash flow for me and I'm giving half of the cash flow to the seller. That's the rule of thumb. It needs to ideally be a 50-50 split. So this is life-changing cash flow. Every single one of you in this room can go and do one of these deals in the next 30 days. I'm not joking. It's not that hard, right? It's crazy. That's, you know, who wants $520,000 a year in free cash flow? If you don't, you must hate money. You must absolutely hate money if you don't want to do this. But don't just think about the money. Think about the lives you're changing by getting these business owners out of their companies and have you cheer you on from the sidelines like Mike's doing with the bowling alley and all of the other proteges and the deals that they're doing. So 5-year annuity, let's say there was a broker involved in this and we had to pay, say, $100,000 as a broker fee. There's a lot of surplus cash in this deal, so that would work. But then you just adjust the annuity payment accordingly. So that deal would be $1.6 million total, 100 at close, 1.5 million as an annuity payment stream. And then this is what's crazy. We talked about the cash flow. Look at how much money you would make if you were to scale this business. So it's doing 5.4 now, and it's making $700,000 in EBITDA. 12.9% margin, that's not bad for a wood manufacturing company. We're buying it at 1.6 on a 5-year deal, so it's a 2.29 multiple, right? So let's say we continue to grow that business at 9%, which is pretty low. I'd love to see this with 400% growth, Chris, like you've done with the bowling alley. But let's say we only grew this at 9% per year, which should, you know, be really, really easy. Within 3 years, you've now got a business doing $7 million in revenue. As you grow a business's top line, your fixed overhead costs flex, so your margins will go up. So let's say in 3 years we're doing $7 million. We're at a 15% margin now. So we've just cleared $1 million in EBITDA or SDE. And then now at $1 million valuation, if we're the sellers, we might sell this business at a 4 times multiple, which would be quite low. You probably get more than that. So now it's a $4.2 million deal if you sold it to somebody. And let's say you still owed $500,000 on the annuity payments because you're 3/5 of the way through. So you're walking away with $3.7 million of exit value. But not just that. As the owner of that business for 3 years, all that free cash flow after the annuity payment is yours. So that will be $875,000 a year on average, less the annuity payment. So you're netting just over $575,000 a year in personal income from this business. Multiply that up, it's about 1.7 million. Add that together, 3 years, you're making 5.4 million in 3 years on one deal. If you earned $1 million a year as a deal maker, you're in the top 0.6% of all taxpayers in this country. And every single one of you can go and do this deal. I'm telling you. So at exit, you've got lots of different options. When you sell the business with the annuity still in place, it's a debt on the balance sheet, remember, it needs to be adjusted for. The buyer might just want to take it over and say, well, hey, I'll do the deal, I'll pay the 3.7, but I'm going to keep the annuity payments. Because that annuity has a lien on the business. So if you're selling the business free and clear, you need to pay that off from your big $4.2 million closing payment. But what you can do, 3/5 in, you call the seller and say, hey, still owe you $500,000, Mike. I'll give you $350 now for all the money. He might say, yeah. Or he might say, well, you know what? No, I like the income. I like the deal. I still like it. So then what you would do is you would go and you'd buy an annuity product in the marketplace. So you're guaranteeing those future payments coming out. What's insane about this as well is if you find a deal like this and you negotiate an annuity deal structure, but you don't want to own the business, you can wholesale it. What's the average wholesale fee for real estate? 10K? 15K? What if I showed you how you could make $1 million wholesaling just one deal? Take this deal that we've done. Let's say you did the 10-year annuity on this deal, so it's $180,000 a year, paid monthly. You get that deal under contract, but you don't want the business. Go and find somebody in Protégé where that deal fits their buy box. You could take any percentage of that free cash flow that you wanted to. If you said, hey, Mark Hall's perfect deal for his buy box, and Julie Voss is like, right, I found this deal, I've got it under contract, but I don't like it. I'm going to sell it to Mark. If he says to Mark, hey, I'm going to get $104,000 a year of this cash flow, but you're still going to make $400,000 a year of free money, he's not going to say no, is he? So you've just made $104,000 per year times 10 through this business. You've just made $1 million over 10 years. You do that over multiple deals. That's wholesaling on steroids for business acquisitions. It's absolutely crazy. What you could also do as well with an annuity is you can also do an annuity purchase option if you want to. So let's say you've got a business and the seller ideally wants the closing payment, but they want to do a deal really, really quickly. You set it up and you close as an annuity deal now and start making those payments to them. And then over 90 or 120 days, just go and refi the deal through the SBA. It's 10 times easier to refi an existing business you own with the SBA than it is to buy a new one. It's not that hard to buy a new one, but it's really easy if you own an existing business. They're throwing that money out like candy to a baby. So you could do an annuity deal, start making the payments, and then just push the button on the refi. And then you're dealing with the SBA, you're dealing with all the due diligence, you're dealing with all the stuff. The seller's out. The seller's on the beach playing golf, doing whatever they're doing, getting the monthly payments. And then 3 or 4 months in, you can make the closing payment, and then your cash flow, in this example, your cash flow would go up from 380 a year to 577 a year because you're leveraging your equity in the deal with the SBA. Right, so implementation. Every single one of you, I want you to do this in the next 30 days. So number 1, dial in your mindset and your why. We talked about that yesterday. Know you can do this, right? Know you can do this and dial in why you want to do it. What is that cash flow going to mean for you? What is owning a business going to mean for you? What are the benefits of that for you? And then what's the pain you're going to be in if you don't do it? So dial that in. Number 2, define your buy box. Do it in a sector that you know something about, you can add value to. Or if you want to wholesale deals for other people, that's fine. But define your buy box. This works really well when you're in an industry you know something about. Number 3, go and originate 25 off-market deals. All the training that Abraham gave you yesterday, go and find 25 off-market deals. Make an annuity deal offer on every single one of them. You might only need 5. You might only need 10. Do it on 25. I guarantee you 100% at least one of those sellers will bite your hands off. Sign an LOI. Do very, very basic legal due diligence. Call your attorney, say, hey, I need 2 hours of your time. I need to just check that I'm legally okay to buy this business. And just make sure that they've done their tax returns properly. Close the deal. And then once you've bought the business, you walk in, get the CPA into the meeting, and whoever in the business does the books, and then do the financial due diligence, the real detailed stuff. And if you don't like the business after you bought it, it's not what you thought, if you want, just give it back. Just don't make the payments. The seller will take the business back. And then, once you've done it once, do what Zafrina and Brittany are doing and Jim Helms, just rinse and repeat. Once you've got a process dialed in, just keep going. Go and originate another 5, 10, 15, 20 deals. And then do roll-ups or bolt-ons and just buy more businesses into the same industry. So go do this, guys. Go make me proud. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Carl Allen. I'm the founder of Dealmaker Wealth Society. I've done tens of billions of dollars of deals over the last 30 plus years. If you're new to my channel, definitely hit like and subscribe so that you can get all of my amazing Dealmaker content in real time. You're not going to miss any of the outstanding information that I'm going to share with you. And if there's a question that you've got, if there's something that you want to know the answer for and you want me to speak to it, definitely hit me up in the comment section and I will record those videos for you and I will get them on this channel as soon as possible. So love having you part of this YouTube community and I can't wait to serve you. Until then, bye-bye for now.